Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday morning live. It's Jillian. It is October and it's cold outside. I'm kind of excited by everything. I don't know, nothing in particular, but just all of the possibilities of the future, which is now. And I found another way to say something about cancer. Cancer is evolution on a dying body. Okay? That's what cancer is. Cancer is evolution on a dying body. Because have you ever tried to, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Playing whack-a-mole. Okay, when you play whack-a-mole, it's like cancer on a dying body. Like cancer is evolution on a dying body. When you're playing whack-a-mole, there's a bunch of moles that you're trying to kill. So you're trying to kill life. And then what happens is that life pops up here. So that mole pops up here and then you try to whack it. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. And then so you have a bunch of holes. Let me explain to you. You have a bunch of holes. And maybe there's one or two maybe there's one mole or they have a bunch of moles in each hole and then the machine makes them pop up intermittently and then you're trying to whack them. Okay, so I don't know the insides of the machine, but obviously it's probably not one mole trying to go to all the different holes. There's probably a mole in each hole, and then they pop up intermittently. And the whole point of the game is for you to whack them once they pop up. So that's what cancer is. It's whack-a-mole. It's where life pops up, and you're trying to destroy it. Life pops up, and you're just trying to destroy it. Life pops up, and you're trying to destroy it. Life is going to pop up and regenerate, and then you're going to try to destroy it. But however, there are still processes and systems in place in your body that when you have so much life popping up in some condensed area, that's when you can have a shutdown of a vital organ because there's too much life in one area. Because it's not just about keeping your heart alive. I mean, that's not the only system in your body that keeps the body going. It's the heart, it's the lungs, it's the liver, it's the kidneys, it's the pancreas. You know, it's all the different systems in your body. And so when you're playing whack-a-mole with all the different evolution in your life, then you are systematically destroying your life. Okay? And so last night I was watching a movie and I forget what it's called, but it's about these scientists that are converging on one area where there's this anomalous um, chemistry, elements in chemistry and biodiversity are being affected, and it actually is bringing up all this DNA in the biodiversity and is causing major anomalies in this one area. And so these military types and scientists are trying to figure out, and they bring in a team of scientists to go into, it's called the Shimmer. And in the Shimmer, there are animals and plants that are like completely different than the other animals and plants in the surrounding area. And this huge anomaly is becoming bigger. It's taking up more space. It's growing. And so they're going in and studying, the DNA makeup, and they're noticing that the DNA makeup of like a specific shape of a plant that's like of a person, they're taking on, what is it, the haxon gene, which is the actual blueprint of the human body, but is taken in a form of a plant. So you see how the design of all of biodiversity has a purpose, and when there is anomalies in the environment, uh, potentially, this is a science fiction movie. Potentially, of course, you may have some severe anomalies where you have plants that are growing into the design of a human body. I'm not saying that's actually happening, but that's what their premise is that the DNA biodiversity DNA structures are being interchangeable between plants and humans and animals. And the animals are in the movie are really just like on steroids. They're like huge. So, but this one scientist was in one clip, she was teaching a class where it's only compartmentalized of trying to understand a cancer cell. And when you think about it, a cancer cell is just life. And so I've always been looking at cancer as how do you kill it? What are you using to kill it? But never from the perspective of why is that cancer growing to begin with? Well, cancer on a dying body. Cancer is really evolution on a dying body. And so, yes, when people inevitably trigger cancer, it's because it's the body trying to survive and grow. It's life trying to grow despite the whack-a-mole attempts of the person, of the universities that are teaching their students how to destroy life at the systematic level, at the micro level, systematically. And so when you are creating or when you are inducing antibiotic proteins, also known as antibodies, programming them to destroy any type of new life emerging. That's the whole point of the vaccinations, because that's the whole point of why they are fearing the viruses, because that's evolution on dying bodies. And so when you have 7 billion people who are dying and reproducing, all at different levels of evolution and death, a virus is going to cause people to evolve who are not ready to evolve and who do not have the capacity and the structure and the support system to handle that evolution. And so to make things even easier, even more clear, is yes, cancer is evolution on a dying body. And I have to write this down, because if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget it. Not that I have it written down over there, but I want to write this down, because that's what cancer is. I don't look at cancer from the perspective of how they kill it in the palliative care in oncology. Oncology is about destroying life. Cancer is just life, but why is it growing more and more condensed in one area or all over? It's because the body has been trained to destroy itself simultaneously, and then people are training themselves to destroy life at the micro level. So cancer is evolution on a dying body. And so yeah, I said, in my preface of my book, I'm like saying, hey, suspend all disbelief. If my information angers you, then it may be an unaddressed trigger that you need to deal with. And that I have noticed that the more educated you are, the harder my information is going to penetrate the programming. Yeah, when you are heavily invested in learning how to destroy people at the micro level, when you're heavily invested in that, as far as chemistry, um, classes, medical, holistic, naturopathic, I don't care what it is, anything that's medicine, whether it's alternative or nutrition. You can be some mere nutritionist who doesn't understand that the reason why a person can't eat certain foods is because they have imbalances. So simply avoiding food or eating so much of this food is not going to help a person who already has a major imbalance, yes, leaky gut, and they have predispositions that not even food can help on a body that's already dying. So anyone that's in any type of healing mechanism out there that has to be licensed and sanctioned by the state is dealing with a destruction of the body, mind, and soul. And so yeah, I imagine that those that are heavily invested in their licenses and in their profession, looked at as gods, will not understand and will definitely have an issue with my information, because yes, I'm not going to say attacking, but I'm exposing the very industry that they work in, because they've been told their whole life that you're supposed to die at some point. And so now all you're doing is just promoting the illusion of peace, mobility, and life in a very, very, very finite amount of time of that person. And all you're doing is trying to see if that person has enough marbles to handle the procedures that you are imposing upon them. And so and then yeah, and charge people an arm and a leg to do that. And so yeah, that's why in a lot of ways I've been exposing the holistic industry too, because they're a wing of the same allopathic industry, all about suppression of evolution and the illusion of peace and mobility. if the person can afford it. So, yes, cancer on a dying body. Cancer is evolution on a dying body. And so when someone says, "Oh, I caught my cancer early," you caught your evolution early. Well, good. Now keep progressing, but you got to keep building your body up. I mean, there's no sense in building a skeleton if you're not willing to put the meat. It's fine. I mean, can you live in a house when it's only just the frame? You got to put in the drywall, the concrete, the insulation, all of that. But what people are doing is they're only putting in the skeleton, the framework. But they're not. But and that's what evolution is when your body is trying to grow cells and proteins. But you only have a skeleton to give it. It's not going to be able to handle that life that is being invoked because it's trying to live. And so that's why people die, because then, eventually when you are exposed to the elements, the vital organs are going to be attacked and they're not going to be able to withstand the new atmosphere. No different than, yeah, then you moving into a house that's only a frame, but there is no drywall, insulation, roof, or anything. So it's quite interesting reading some of the comments on my business page. And I look at their background, people's backgrounds, and yeah, people that are really pissing on my information, they go to Cambridge, they go to MIT, they're chemists in like high level colleges, right? They Harvard. I mean, just look at who's laughing at my information, and I delete comments because there's no sense in putting any negative energy out there. But the ones that have the most issue with my information are those that are heavily indoctrinated into the death system, into the death cult of occultic medicine and alternative medicine. Okay? And so that's like, and that's why there's this virus out there. That's why this virus is out there, because it is a balancing force. That virus is going to basically let you know, do you have what it takes to handle this new world? Regardless of your education level, regardless of your socioeconomic status, regardless of your background, your culture, your ethnicity, doesn't matter. Can you handle the new environment? And the environment is really, it's not poisonous. There is nothing poisonous in this environment. There's no pollution in really. Do you know what's polluted are those that have imbalances. The environment is just the environment. It's been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. Dust kicked up here, dust kicked up here, fluctuations in the environment over here, fluctuations in the environment over here. A very strong biodiversity can adapt to the fluctuations in all points of the earth. So if you are bitching about pollution, it's because your body is not able to adapt to the conditions. Because let me tell you, if something was that poisonous, really, all of biodiversity would not be able to live. But the fact that you're able to live in a polluted area, it means that you have the ability to adapt, but you're having trouble adapting because you're bitching about it, you're feeling your body trying to evolve, but yet you're not supporting it. And so what happens when a body has trouble evolving to its current environment, then the system comes in and anesthetizes and gives you that superficial piece, which is basically eradication, neutralizing the chaos until there's nothing left, until they're like, okay, now you're in hospice. Now you just gotta let Mother Nature just do what she has to do because we can't do anything else. Okay? They don't want to be responsible to kill you. Okay? So they, once at some point when they figure out that they can't do anything to give you any peace, because the system can't give you any peace, then you're going to go down regardless. Okay? And your body's going to still try to evolve and still try to live, and that's pain. And the system can't apply any more freaking, antibodies to you or anything that's life suppressing because they would snuff you out. So they got to let just Mother Nature do what it's got to do, and you will allow your body to then be trying to evolve out of existence. Because yes, at some point, the evolution, the amount of life trying to live is going to destroy your vital organs because you have not supported the rest of your body correctly. And so that's why people die in palliative care, because the body isn't either pumping enough blood to the heart, or it has blockages, or you have too much fatty acid blocking the areas. Um, too much mucus in the lungs because of lung issues. Cancer of the lungs means that there's so much growth trying to grow because it's trying to evolve, and the rest of your body has been suppressed. So guess where all that growth is going to be converted to? Then the areas that that have not been attacked. And so that's the thing, is why is it that people have specific cancer, disease, and chronic illness in different areas? Because every other area has been suppressed in some way, and there's also weaknesses, and so life is trying to grow in that area. So it's a weakness and a strength, and it could be diverted because of other areas in the body. There's so many different factors of why more life is growing here than it is over here. When you're in a barren part of the desert and there's an oasis, that could be construed as cancer, because you have a barren desert where there's really no life, and then you have this area where there's water and there's palm trees and all that, and they call that an oasis. People think it's great, yeah, but that also is like, cancer on a body. When everything is barren on the body and there's all this life growing, right? Too much life growing. You'd think it's a great thing, but on a body that's dying, it's not a good thing. So it's all, so you can take something that's so wonderful, and in a context of imbalance, okay, as above, so below. So in a barren desert, that's like as above. Life is growing and everything's flourishing and great, right? When you have an oasis. But so below is when you have a dying body with an oasis of life, that would kill you, because you're not bringing the rest of the body up to the level of that life that's growing, whether it's that cancer on the lungs or the ovaries or wherever. And so that's why people die, is because they fail to keep the balance within their system. So that's good to know. That's good to know. All right, I'm going to go, but I got things to do, but I just wanted to put that out there. You guys have a good day. Bye.